and Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Oh, the media, they're in love. Just what a love fest taking place between the media and Kamala. And you hear these talking points over and over. Do you notice that? So-called mainstream media, and we have all of it. I won't torture you. This Tim Walz, a nobody. Nobody knows who he is. He's a nobody, but he is a progressive. Make no mistake about it. Far, far left progressive guy who is against parental rights and is somebody who has, well, he's being really heralded for the fact that he was early. He was this school teacher, early supporter way back in the day in the 90s, ahead of his time, as he was somebody in his high school football coach who had been the counselor and supported the creation of a gay rights group in his high school. You didn't really hear back in the 90s. You didn't hear about too many of those clubs, did you? But there he was, Tim Walz. Mark my words, this guy has some skeletons in this closet that are going to come out. My mom's spidey senses are going crazy over this guy. I'm just saying it's going to come out. So wait for it. Here it comes. But this guy, there is something creepy about him. You know that old saying, thou dost protest too much? The fact that he's the one who came up with weird and creepy, there was this made up thing about the couch reference. Have you been following that? So it was a made up thing that Hillbilly Elegy in the movie that J.D. Vance, made love to his couch or some weird reference, never happened, was not in there, and they've debunked it, and yet he was saying that. This guy, he's a creepy guy. He's the creepy, weird guy. That's what this is about, and that's what's going to come out. But we've got all the audio for you as far as yesterday in Philadelphia. Yes, we were front and center stage. I will say this. You're not going to like that I say this, but it's my media analysis that Governor Josh Shapiro, I thought he was, as far as if you are a Democrat or if you're watching this, the crowd loved him, showing what the polls show that he is in Pennsylvania still. He has more than 50%, 51%, which is pretty good for a Democrat governor. He's popular in Pennsylvania. So to me, I think that he would have been popular, and he would have been I will tell you, an incredible campaigner for Harris, and he would have worked hard for her, and he's good on the campaign trail, and he's likable. So I think this was a win for Trump. I loved what Trump put out on True Social and social media. He just put out all caps, "Thank you," when Kamala announced her Veep pick. So Veep on Veep. We've got J.D. Vance as well here in Philadelphia. Talks a mile a minute, high energy, and I think that he'll crush Tim Walz in any kind of a debate. The notion that Walz beats J.D. Vance is ridiculous. It's crazy, okay? 855-839-1210, get your take. So let's see. We have the Philadelphia mayor. Great. She did a great job, and she was all over CNN cheering for the Eagle. I think she cheered for the Eagles more than she did Joe Biden, by the way, and the Phils. But so we had her, we had Shapiro, and then what you notice is that the more moderate Democrats were the warm-up band, and they were warming up for the main act, which are very far left progressives who are not going to do as well. Boom, there it is. Then we have all kinds of audio. So J.D. Vance, do we have some of the Trump stuff from this morning? Can we pretty please get to that? So Trump called into Fox and Friends this morning, and then Lawrence O'Donnell was out live, and then they did this. It felt like it was on the fly, but they were, since Lawrence O'Donnell was out live, he just said, well, do you have a question for Trump? He's on the phone. And they were doing this Q&A. One of the headlines this morning, the reaction that Trump is getting, is that Trump, the headline is, he said that Kamala and Walz will turn America communist. So he's calling them out as having far left policies. I think it behooves him to talk about their policies. And so that's where I'll begin. As far as Trump saying, hey, this duo, you could not go further left if you wanted to. Saying that Harris Walls, this ticket turns America communist immediately. That's one of the headlines just this morning. Former President Donald J. Trump putting out this warning that Vice President Kamala Harris, I just think about the past 2 weeks and the media. The media did not like her, threw her under the bus, her electric bus, right, her EV bus, up until 2 weeks ago. She announces, oh, we have momentum. Oh, she's fabulous. She's wonderful. It's amazing to me how they suddenly have no memory of what they were saying about her 2 weeks ago. But Trump saying, and you let me know, give me the thumbs up when you got it? You have it? Yes. Here it is.
Joining us now for his first TV interview, his reaction to this ticket that he's fighting against them to have the right to go to the White House and become the 47th president. Let's welcome the 45th president of the United States, GOP presidential nominee, President Donald Trump. Mr. President, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
So
Thank you.
Your reaction to Governor Tim Walz joining Kamala Harris to go against you and J.D. Vance.
I would say my reaction is I can't believe it. I never thought this was going to be the one that was picked. I know him a little bit. I helped him very much during the riots because his house was surrounded by people that were waving an American flag. Doesn't sound like very bad people. And he called me, and he was very concerned, very, very concerned that it was going to get out of control. They only had one guard. I guess it was at the mansion or at his house in some form. And he called me. I said, what do you want me to do about it? I was in the White House. He said, if you would put out the word that I'm a good person. And I did. I put out the word. I said, he's a good person. I hope everything's good. And everybody put down their flags and took their flags with them. But they took their American flags and their MAGA flags and they left. It was thousands of people. And that was the first time I said, wow, that's very interesting. And he called me back and he thanked me very much. That's my only thing I ever had to do with him. He's a very, very liberal man, and he's a shocking pick, and I'm thrilled. I could not be more thrilled.
Yeah, I mean, when they selected him, it's really a gift for you because this election is all about the issues, and all of y'all have records. You've been the president. We know where the economy stood. We know what your record is. We know what Kamala Harris's record is, and we know what his record is, and they are extremely progressive. Talk about how you're going to handle this on the campaign trail. Will you just really hone in on how they voted in the past?
Well, I am. I'm going to be doing that. What he wants. If you look at his record with no walls, no security, let everybody in, he's worse than they are. You know, nobody knew how radical left she was, but he's a smarter version of her. If you want to know the truth, he's probably about the same as Bernie Sanders. He's probably more so than Bernie Sanders. She is more so than Bernie Sanders. That's got to be your guide, Bernie Sanders, and that's not a great guide. But there's never been a ticket like this. This is a ticket that would want this country to go communist immediately, if not sooner. We want no security. Mm-hmm. We want no anything. He's very heavy into transgender. Anything transgender he thinks is great. And he's not where the country is on anything.
Mr. President,
this is a shocking. Let me tell you, this is a shocking pick, and I think it's very insulting to Jewish people, and I think it's very insulting to people that want security. I think it's very insulting to anything having to do with making America great again.
Thank you,
Mr. President.
So we'll continue on with that. I just want your reaction to what Trump is saying, and also just his demeanor, staying on point. I like it. 855-839-1210. Tell me what you think. So Trump speaking out, but I want to point out to you as well that Elon Musk putting out there on X that, and you can just, the way with Elon Musk, and he speaks so in an interesting way in his cadence, he called her quite literally a communist. That's what he called her. Quite literally a communist. So that was Elon Musk slamming Harris. So he's doubling down, and then you're going to have Trump joining Elon Musk. So these forces now, forces of nature or whatever you want to say, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. But I agree with Trump on this. When I saw it, and yesterday I was like, I feel good. Da-na-na. Like I was singing yesterday. I was so happy with this because I simply think on so many levels, when you look at the far left progressive policies of Governor Tim Walz, and I question whether or not he's as popular as they're saying in his own state of Minnesota, because he was the lockdown, mask up, lying guy, lying far left liberal. And I also am going to question this. The real knock on Kamala Harris, just keep this, remember all the stories about how her own staff couldn't stand her, and how even insiders, when they said that she was MIA, and why isn't she going to the border, even her own staffers as vice president under Biden were quitting and were critical of her. And so you have a reputation of both Tim Walz and Kamala Harris. These are people who are not known for an incredible work ethic. They show up for the party, they show up for the victory lap, but not individuals, from what I'm hearing from the insiders and even some of the public criticisms, that neither of these individuals is known for being a hard worker and putting the due diligence into the job. A campaign is exhausting. It is exhausting work. I want you to think about J.D. Vance, just turning 40 this month, energetic guy. Think of his rags to riches story, if you will, that he came from, by all accounts, nothing. And all the stats were against him, and against all odds ends up as this individual who ends up with all kinds of, let's say, sponsorships, goes to Yale, didn't pay for it, obviously, because they offer, he got financial aid. And so he goes to Yale. He goes on to write Hillbilly Elegy, New York Times best-selling author, major movie, blah, blah, blah. So that's J.D. Vance. Yesterday, South Philadelphia. Where is he right now? You know what, you guys? We might take him. J.D. Vance is speaking right now. He's already in Detroit, okay? Less than 24 hours later, where is he? He's on the campaign trail. Where's Joe Biden? Where's Kamala Harris? Where is Tim Walz? This Walz-Harris team, they are not hard workers. They're not going to put in the campaign effort. They're going to be like Hillary Clinton in the back of a minivan somewhere in remember this leading up to 2016? Let's go. Here's JD.
Having finally gotten through.
Oops. We'll get JD in just a second, okay? JD Vance live in Detroit less than 24 hours after being in Philadelphia, okay? That's what you're going to see. Where's Trump? Boom. He's all over it. The next morning, early, bright and early, boom, boom. It's every day. It's a marathon. And so they had their little fun in Philadelphia last night. They're all sleeping in and pushing the snooze button. That's what the Dems are doing. They're lazy and they're MIA, just like Walz, MIA, Minnesota governor, when the cities were burning down, George Floyd 2020, the masks, the mandates, loss of business, corruption within the government, taking all that aid money. All right, here's J.D. Vance in Detroit.
Jim is the leader of one of the most important associations of law enforcement officers here in the state of Michigan. I mean, he told me about just in a 30-day period recently, they lost three police officers who lost their lives in the line of duty because Kamala Harris has sent out this message that it's open season on American police officers. And that filters down to the criminals who hear it, who know they're not going to suffer consequences for committing violent crime, and then do exactly that. And Jim's police officers lost their lives because of it. So I'd love to have Jim come up here and just say a few words if you're willing.
So here's a message, and just continue to listen to it. Just
thank you, Senator.
Put it way down, will you, Jimmy? But we're gonna continue to monitor this, okay? Because what he's doing is he is highlighting J.D. Vance in Detroit, and this is another Michigan. This is in the gray right now. Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. If we win those three, we lock it in, right? Trump locks it in at the top of the ticket. So why is J.D. Vance in Detroit? Why is he talking about the defund the police movement by somebody by Kamala Harris, somebody like Tim Walz? Tim Walz is the poster child for defund the police. That's what he believes in. That's why he would not Remember what I played you yesterday? That's why the Minnesota governor was getting called. Where are you? Where's the plan? What are we going to do? We're unsafe. Cities are burning. Where are you? Help. Mayday. Where was he? He was hiding. He's not a leader, this guy. He's a defund the police movement guy, and blue lives were sacrificed under Governor Walz. That's what's going on. And so you have that going on. You have Trump and J.D. Vance up early. They're not going to miss a heartbeat. We know Trump. The man's energy is incredible. Where's Harris? Where's Biden? Where are these people today? Where are they this morning? Now, I know Harris had said that her camp is going to be campaigning in these swing states, but then she was quick to cancel in North Carolina. I told you yesterday, I think that's a huge mistake. North Carolina leaning red. I think they're going to go red. They're not a lock. But I also think it's not just the fact that they're suffering from the remnants of this horrible tropical storm. That's when you go in. That's when you lean in. If you are a human being who has leadership qualities, what do? You lean in to North Carolina. You go earlier. And you put on your boots, your mud boots, right? And your sweatshirt. You go over there and you you shake hands, and you bring in some relief efforts, and you say, "I'm as your future president, I'm going to be with you, North Carolina." Is Harris doing that? Are they in North Carolina? Can we take that right now? Do we have Harris, Walz in North Carolina? Let's take that audio. Oh, why don't we have that? Why don't we have them rallying? Because they're not in North Carolina. You know why? Because they're sleeping in. Because they take you for granted. They take every one of their demographics for granted. And you know what they count on? And this is the real sin. They count on the liberal media to carry their water. They count on Mika and Joe. Shame on you. They count on the liberal media who they were giddy. Remember Jake, now I can't even call him by his name. I'm calling him Jake Strapper because of Tony Bruno, fake strapperist. Bruno calls him, and now Nick. But think about how when they were hosting that debate and they had to deal with Trump, and you saw them and they were all tight-lipped and tense because they're all like, oh, we have to talk to Trump and we have to be fair. You saw it looked like they were constipated, for crying out loud, with the look, especially Dana Bash. They can't stand Trump, and they show it in their face. And then you look at that, contrast that with the demeanor of those network anchors and reporters and so-called independent journalists when they cover something like Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, the Democrats at the Leah Cora Center here in. Look at the joy. I mean, they were just joyful, and they were the lightness, and they looked so happy. You can see their bias. You can see it, and you can feel it. And that's who is going to help the Democrats. So spread the word, spread the facts, because we just want to talk about the facts and what policies these individuals support. E.J. Antoni is going to join us in the 11 o'clock hour, and he is a genius when it comes to talking about all things economic and the numbers. So you want to hear from him, and a longtime friend of us. So we'll get his take on as far as the economics of all of this, the economics of Bidenomics, and your reaction, of course. 855-839-1210. Thanks for being here this Hump Day Wednesday after we survived the floods and the storms, and what a mess. Be right back.
Dom Giordano.
If Shapiro doesn't get it, it's because the National Democrat Party is captive to those that are anti-Israel and anti-Semitic. Otherwise, you're tagging in a guy like Mark Kelly, who has a deal with China. You're putting Pete Buttigieg in there? I don't think so. The only reason you're not putting Shapiro in there is because he's Jewish and because your party can't stand that.
It's Dom time. Dom Giordano. Weekdays noon till 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale & Company. The best place to bet the games this summer is FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Then you can bet on all your favorite international teams in all your favorite sports, from basketball to badminton. Don't forget those badminton fans. There's a ton of them out there. And soccer to swimming. FanDuel has it all. You can bet same-game parlays. There's all kinds of prop bets. It's all right there at FanDuel.com. So don't miss your chance to score $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg to sign up. FanDuel.com/Greg to start betting the games today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official partner of 1210 WPHT. 21 and over, present in PA. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Do you have a property that you no longer want? Maybe you inherited the property. Maybe you're underwater in the property. Or maybe you're just a tired landlord, tired of dealing with tenants. Listen, I can buy those properties, and I'll buy those properties fast. I can close in 2 weeks. I buy properties cash. My name is Larry Steinhaus. Give me a call at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I will personally answer the call. You can also visit easyOutRealEstate.com. This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. Did you know we are having a full one-day event on August 17th? It's called the Money Hacks event. You want to come to this event and you will learn how to become your own bank, how to invest in real estate without any money. You will learn the stock market, and you will learn how to build credit for cash-flowing assets, and so much more. It's a full day packed with information. Use the code 1210, that's 1210, to get a 50% discount on the ticket. Go to 4mmw.com, that's 4mmw.com, and register today.
Hey, fantasy football fans, do you want to be the owner who was doing a cram session the night before the draft? I didn't think so. You need to start your prep now. This is Faraz from Upper Hand Fantasy. Zach and I are here to get you ready for your fantasy football drafts with insights and advice. From sleepers to busts, we've got you covered and give you the upper hand on your friends. Today is the day to start getting ready for the draft, so join us and stay ahead of the competition. Follow and listen to Upper Hand Fantasy on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today at 1210 WPHT.
So what's your take as you hear Trump reacting to what happened in Philadelphia last night? Josh Shapiro giving a fiery speech. Tony Bruno, Greg Stocker, Nick Cale all agreed that he's embodying the spirit of Obama. But I would say, okay, he's a fanboy, but so are a lot of, especially male politicians who saw the success of Obama. Notice, though, if you are a Democrat right now, you don't want anybody to talk about Biden. So, of course, you're going to go back to Obama. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I simply say that the fact that the Democrat Party passed over Josh Shapiro, and think about what's going on across the nation with this reset. I believe it's a national reset that we're going to see. By the way, I think we're going to see it in Minnesota. I think that Tim Walz, it's all going to come out that he's not as popular as they think, and they're portraying him as, oh, this ordinary dad and Leave It to Beaver, whatever. No, I don't buy it. I think that more is going to come out about him, and I think it's like Trump said, it's just a gift for Trump, but it's his to lose, that for sure. So your calls, 855-839-1210. What's your take? We have a lot of news, health news I want to get to. I do want to talk about this story, so don't let me forget this, Henry and Jimmy. I want to get into the story of the EPA making this emergency move to ban this chemical that's put on our vegetables, something that, and this is a common theme. In Europe, they, and other parts of the world, they treasure the food and believe that food is medicine. In America, we're always playing catch up. I just want to think about, pun intended, but I want to think about why now. Are there lawsuits, new studies coming out? What's going on? But this DCPA, this chemical commonly used on things like broccoli and different vegetables in America, and they say, yeah, it's bad for women, for pregnant women, bad for the unborn baby, causing all kinds of problems. So they are putting this out. So we'll talk about some health news and other issues of the day as well. But Trump, what happened in Philly? Your reaction, 855-839-1210. We have Beth in Philadelphia. Hey, Beth.
Hey, Dawn. I love the energy of the Trump-Vance ticket, and I think that Harris made such a great pick for our side, for sure. I also wanted to follow up on something you said yesterday. You had so many good points to the gentleman who called, talking about his family that were pro-life, that would not vote for Trump because of the change in the ticket. I mean, not having that prominently displayed on the ticket. And you explained it very well, saying, well, now it's a state issue, no longer a federal issue. And it makes me so frustrated with people like that who are so single-minded. It's like cutting off your nose to spite your face. When you've got the potential of putting that ticket, Trump-Vance, back into office, who are going to put people into, if candidates open up or positions open up on the Supreme Court, that are going to be more pro-choice and put conservatives in, and you're just hurting yourself by not going out and pulling that lever.
Well, thanks for saying that, and you're exactly right. And I don't know why, but was it Peter that called? It was Dennis, I think. Dennis that called, and he stuck with me as well, Beth, because even when I got home, and then I continued the conversation, 6 hours live isn't enough here. So then I said to Larry, what am I doing wrong that people, Dennis and his wife get it, but what about his family? These are conservatives, pro-life conservatives, who are saying that they're not going to vote, they're going to abstain from voting at all, or for Trump, because they're upset thinking Trump took pro-life off the platform of the RNC GOP, right? And I'm just thinking, okay, what am I doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? It's a messaging issue, really. And I think part of it is counterbalancing, as I always say, the media bias, that there's such an infiltration of the so-called objective media. They're not objective. And they're trying to get in the brain and in the mindset of pro-life, Christian, faith-based individuals. They're trying to influence them to stay home. We have to do a better job of combating that, because that's evil, Beth. That's evil.
No, you're so right.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you. Love you back. Thank you. But I think that Trump, the fact that I thought that he's appropriate as far as I didn't get to hear it all. I know Henry and Jimmy were monitoring that because it was a pretty long interview, and then he was taking the questions, but his tone is correct. Doing and taking some Q&A, answering the live, non-scripted questions, and then as well, really kicking it back to, let's talk about the policies. Let's talk about who are these individuals? Who is Kamala Harris? Who is Tim Walz? You want to know who they are. What are their policies? Because once you look at their very far left policies and anti-parental rights, that's a big one. But on the other side, let's think about Tim Walz, and I told you this yesterday, and this is important. He is not in line even on his state level abortion stance. What I mean by that is, do most Americans pretty much agree with that old, the old Ronald Reagan, the 3 exceptions? Yes. Most Americans would say that's reasonable, that this is something that's super rare, that's hopefully with research avoidable even. But in those rare exceptions, most Americans will say, yeah, that's a doctor and a patient. Yeah, if this is a rare thing, then okay, we support that. But by and large, look at every poll, look at every piece of research that you can find. The vast majority of Americans, I think it's like 81 or 85%, say that allowing the procedure of abortion up until the moment of birth well into, you're talking about 9 months into that third trimester, the vast majority of Americans say, no, I have a real problem with that. And so as far as Walz, as far as Harris, as far as Fetterman, they are far left of most Americans on that issue. And that's not all. We'll take you through it. You'll get the audio, and we'll have some fun today, too. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
40 days up to 40 pounds. Say it with me. 40 days up to 40 pounds. Shed that summer vacation weight by reaching out to NJ Diet. You will lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days and without any shots. NJ Diet is all natural. They use your hair, saliva, and blood work, along with bioenergetic scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat-burning zone so you can finally lose that weight. Then, NJ Diet uses DNA info to help you keep it off. Best of all, it's contractually guaranteed. You're fully supervised the entire time to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. You even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. Locations in Newark, Delaware, King of Prussia, and Cherry Hill, or available worldwide with live online video consultations. Call 855-5-NJ-DIET or schedule your consultation today by going to njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com. 40 days up to 40 pounds. 40 days up to 40 pounds.
Family and Company Jewelers on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey is known for being South Jersey's diamond destination and your trusted jeweler for quality, service, and price. Choose from the largest selection of engagement rings in the area or have their master jewelers create a one-of-a-kind ring just for your special day. Visit their showroom or shop online at familyjewelers.com.
Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The Palestinian militant group Hamas says it's chosen Yahya Sinwar as its new leader. Democratic nominee Kamala Harris introduced her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, at the Leah-Corr Center yesterday evening. Residential parking permit prices are going up in September.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Offer not valid in all states or prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Great. Maxed out cards, rent is due, bills are piling up. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
We should do what my brother did. He went to GetCash.com and got $3,000.
With our bad credit?
GetCash.com is different. They're one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000.
I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork.
Nope. My brother said it was fast and easy. He did it right from his phone.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan of up to $5,000 in minutes, and your cash can hit your bank account as soon as the next day. Our lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history.
Great news! I went to GetCash.com and we'll have our money as soon as tomorrow.
Wow, that is fast.
If you need extra cash, go to GetCash.com. That's GetCash.com. GetCash.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Yo, Roy is Ford. We know your favorite station is 1210 WPHT.
So J.D. Vance in Detroit, and they're doing the swing states. They're swinging, just a swinging. Hey, this morning we were having a little fun with talking about beards. Tim Walz, I don't know his story, but when we think about a beard, what about J.D. Vance? I'm looking at the beard and I'm thinking physically, Henry Mashett, you think he needs a little bit of a makeover, right?
Yeah, some manscaping wouldn't hurt.
Is manscaping on your face?
It can be.
It really? Because one year I thought it was, and I gave the boys manscaping, like they're expensive, like the
Right, yeah.
and then they were stocking stuffers, and they told me how inappropriate that was for a mom to give her teenage son's manscaping stuff, and I was like, "What? I'm talking about like I really thought it was like their face, but they were like, Mom."
Well, you didn't give it to them. Santa did, so take it up with Santa.
Thank you. Well, Santa giving, maybe that's even creepier. I don't know. But anyway, I think what J.D. Vance, I would like to see on his cheeks, the more of the scruffy, like a little overgrown. Do you know that look?
Yeah, I know.
He probably needs the chin thing, but like a little.
It's a little blotchy. It needs to be just touched up with a little something. Make it all look uniform.
We need a stylist.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I don't think you should shave it or trim it down to a different style. I think you got to grow it out or have some filler in there.
Yeah, so it's not like a Bryce Harper bushy beard.
Right.
We don't want that.
No, it's a little too long.
Yeah, that's too much. I think JD, I like around his mouth and chin. I'm just saying a little stylist action with like the more stubble look on the cheeks. Like a little more,
Yeah, almost like it's like faded down.
Yeah,
almost.
like faded, exactly. We need the fade. Henry Mashett, and you nailed it. It's the fade.
It's the fade.
It's the fade on the face. All right, 855-839-1210. Don't worry, we'll get to the audio. Your calls, Big Al, Mullica Hill. Hey, Big Al.
Hey, Dawn. Hey, listen, Chameleon Harris, and her little buddy there. First of all, let me say something about abortion. I don't know, as long as people keep on listening to the communist news network, CNN and MSNBCs and that, they're going to think that Trump has taken away the right to an abortion. What has done, the Supreme Court, they just put the power back to the people, getting the federal government out of it, and they shouldn't be in it at all. And you want to talk about yesterday, they didn't say one thing about a policy that they're doing, but they did a lot of lies. They said Trump's going to touch Social Security, Medicare. He is going to touch Social Security because he's not going to tax it anymore, which is great for the people. He's not going to tax tips, which is great for the people. But they didn't even talk anything about policies. Now, also, what I want to remind people, I wish people would do a little bit of research. Just do a little bit of research to find out what's going on. But I want to talk about digital money. If that really goes through, okay, they're going to control everything that we do, everything that we buy, everything that we purchase, from food to it's about control. They'll be able to raise taxes whenever they want and just take the money out of our digital money. It's about controlling, and that's leading to communism, and people have to wake up.
Wake up. And you know what is interesting about that very point is that they tried to go to more digital platforms. You know who cannot stand the digital platforms here in Philadelphia? Remember this? When they tried to do it, and you had pushback from different African-American, especially civil rights groups, who said it's racist. And they said, you can't do that in the black community. We don't like this digital stuff. We don't use this stuff, and it's racist. And I loved it. And then remember this? And Mayor Jim Kenney was like, racist. Ruh-roh. And they backed off of it. So there are all these checks and balances. But as far as Trump, gaining support, you just nailed another issue where, Trump is talking about cash, keeping your cash, whether it's your hard-earned tip money, whether it's your Social Security benefit, that, by the way, you already paid your taxes, and it's a lousy forced investment plan that we would do better if we privatized it anyway, but to tax it, insult to injury. Go ahead.
And one other thing, you keep on calling Trump a racist. He has done more for the African American community than most presidents in the past, even Obama, because the 10 colleges came back and to Trump, and he said Obama made us come back every year and beg for money. He gave me enough for probably the next 10 years. Now African American people, don't forget who freed the slaves. It was Republicans. Who wants to keep
Abraham
you in chains?
Lincoln.
It's the Democrats, okay? What have they done for you? They keep on telling you they're going to do things, but, man, once they get in office, nothing is done for anybody.
That's right. Well, except for themselves, right?
Oh, yeah.
They benefit them. They get richer. That's for sure. Trump has not gotten richer. That's for sure. Thanks, Big Al. Great points. And
God bless you, Dawn. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you as well. Stay safe as we. It looks like the skies are trying to brighten up. Man, that storm last night, that was crazy with the lightning. Poor Buddy Boy. But as I think about, these issues and why they have to say, well, Trump, he's evil, he's a racist, he's Hitler. Why do they have to do that? They have to make up these things about him because they have nothing else. They don't have the policies on their side. The other issue with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz joining Kamala Harris for the big Dem ticket here, think about the critics blasting the Minnesota governor for what they say and what they're pointing to, his failure to prevent the COVID-19 fraud schemes that, and this is amazing. Again, if he were a Republican with this level of a scandal, and it's his, he's the guy in charge, the buck has to stop with him. But and these are federal charges, okay? You can look it up yourself if you want to fact check it. But these federal charges were filed over the past couple of years. And about 70 plus people, part of this wide-ranging criminal conspiracy exploiting 2 federally funded nutrition programs that fraudulently were able to get $250 million. $250 million in one of the largest COVID-era fraud schemes anywhere in the nation. Where did this happen? Under the watch of Governor Walz. So while I don't know what he does. It sounds like he's just an MIA governor, if you want to ask me about it. He was MIA during the 2020, riots that happened across Minnesota. Law enforcement injured, citizens injured, businesses and cities burning. Where was he? MIA. During this, where he's supposed to protect. These were nutrition programs to help babies and children and families and elderly. And these were the most vulnerable people impacted by the pandemic. And by the way, all the pandemic Dem progressive shutdowns that they continued on with. But largest fraud schemes in the nation under the watch, or lack thereof, of the Minnesota governor. So the defendants, these fraudsters, they used this Minnesota-based nonprofit organization. It was called Feeding Our Future. And they avoided any kind of scrutiny from the Minnesota Department of Education. Here we go. It was supposed to be doing oversight. It was supposed to vet these programs. And so they were wolves in sheep's cloth that were allowed by this Minnesota Democrat governor. His administration was responsible for watching out for the most vulnerable people who were hungry. I mean, can you even imagine? These ads write themselves. Can you imagine if any Republican governor, imagine DeSantis had some scandal like this, what they'd be doing to him? But you're not hearing much about it, are you? So shortly after Walz was announced as Harris's running mate, even the Minneapolis Star-Tribune published a story saying the case was one of the leading vulnerabilities for Walz. Okay, and this is a liberal-leaning newspaper. Even they had to talk about this because it's so bad. But they're saying that Walz, as far as Trump, he's essentially saying this guy is incompetent. Not just because he's a liberal, he's just incompetent as a governor. But shame on him. And so people were going hungry, elderly, babies, children, families, made vulnerable by this guy's level of incompetence. And his administration should have to answer to this. He should have to answer to this. Why aren't they holding more news conferences, interviews? Where are all the interviews? Can you even imagine if the Trump team and their campaign tried to pull any of these, tried to pull this where they don't even answer to the media, they don't hold regular news conferences? It is insane. Watch for the bias by omission. Watch for the media bias. We need to create a whole folder for this and just keep scoring them, giving them a daily grade, a weekly grade, a monthly grade. But see, this is what they're counting on. They're counting on the fact that we're really not so far off from November 5th. And they just hope to hide these horrible, liberal, progressive, failed candidates, failed in their jobs, failed on every level. It's amazing to me that they have the audacity to run these people. And it shows you that they feel that we are uninformed as a public. 855-839-1210. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll take your calls right on the other side. Be right back. And we will talk about something that, well, I love the Piazza Auto Group. You know I do. Piazza, Piazza, the Piazza Auto Group and our friends from Piazza. They're awesome. This is August. We are in prime time season, road trip season for so many of us. But do you really know if your vehicle is road trip ready? Yes, my friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles, they're always going to help make sure that you are good to go, that your family's safe on your road trip. So the service centers of the Piazza Premium dealers, not only handling your regular maintenance needs, of course, but also diagnosing possible issues before they occur. Just schedule a service appointment online today. Go online, Piazza, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com for that dealer nearest you. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Talk Radio 1210's Huge Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr. is moving to Thursday, September 12th. Join Dom Giordano as he talks to Donald Trump Jr. about all things Trump. Just 2 days after the planned presidential debate. The new date, Thursday, September 12th at Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood. Your tickets include a copy of Letters to Trump by former President Trump. A cash bar will be available. Get your tickets now at 1210WPHT.com. That's 1210WPHT.com.
An excessive heat warning is in effect. Is your AC system struggling to keep your home cool? If you hear something funny, smell something burny, your AC is frozen or leaking water, or even feel warm air coming from your unit, it's time to call CNC. CNC Heating and Air Conditioning. Your local York certified comfort experts can make it a no-sweat summer for your entire household with one phone call. 0% financing options available. Don't wait until it's too late. Visit cc-hvac.com to request your estimate today.
The economic future of this country is littered with uncertainty, but over 5,000 crash-proof retirement clients like Larry Kipp are protected by a tried-and-true system proven to protect their principal and outperform the S&P 500 even in the worst of market crashes.
In 2006, I had already retired. I knew that I couldn't lose principal, and so when the crash came, I knew my money was safe. And when the market starts to grow again, then I start gaining interest. I don't have to wait for it to grow back to where it was to gain that interest. I haven't incurred any fees doing this. I'm very satisfied with the service. I would say that there is a crash-proof retirement. I have proof of it.
Learn more about how the exclusive crash-proof retirement system protected Larry from market crashes at our next event at the William Penn Inn on Tuesday, September 17th. Call us at 1-800-722-9728 or visit crashproofretirement.com.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
We have a man who's a warrior, a great military person. Dave McCormick is a seventh-generation Pennsylvanian who grew up in Bloomsburg, went to West Point, and earned a Bronze Star for his service in the First Gulf War. Dave went on to an outstanding career in business, and now he's fighting for the people of this Commonwealth, and he loves this Commonwealth.
Conservative Dave McCormick.
We need new leadership. We need a new president in the White House that's going to get our country back on track. We need a new majority in the Senate that's going to be able to take our country in the right direction.
Dave will vote to secure your borders, stand up to China, unleash incredible amounts of Pennsylvania energy, and he wants to stop Bidenflation. David McCormick, you have my total support and my total endorsement, and you got to win. Dave McCormick.
I'm Dave McCormick, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Dave McCormick. www.davemccormickpa.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. and the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, Warminster, we know your favorite station is WPHT.
Tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
So we have Philadelphia's mayor making national news. Quite a hoot. I got a kick out of her. Last night, Larry and I were watching her, and she loves, her signature orange. That's her favorite color. Remember when she was campaigning? And I think part of Sherelle Parker, not just because she was somebody who represented, my district as a resident of Philadelphia, so I've known her for years, but somebody who just kicked Helen Gim's butt. We haven't. She just shut up. Because I know a lot of people just like, Helen Gim, please shut up. Remember, I'm here. She was so progressive. And Sherelle just just zip it, shut her up. That's it. Silenced her. I love it. But even this morning, we'll get to that in a moment. So much reaction. But even this morning, even some Democrats are talking about Cori Bush. I mean, this is a squad member. And remember that the squad had endorsed Helen Gim locally. Remember that. But Cori Bush, the latest to suffer a primary loss, even some Democrats admitting that, well, maybe this is a kind of a pushback of the extremes. And we're seeing this more and more, where these far left progressives, they don't play. They just don't. I think that Kamala Harris, and we'll go through it as far as looking through, there's so many story headlines. Let me just I'll get to your calls in 1 sec, I promise. 855-839-1210, but just some of these, and this is Henry from his show sheet here. Tim Walz makes the ticket debut, substance-free attempted roast of Trump, and that from J.D. Vance. So that's one story, that it was substance, as Big Al said, no substance. Where's the beef, right? And so Harris uses Walz to swipe at Vance, the varsity team, and the JV squad. I would disagree. I thought Shapiro looked like he was on the varsity squad, and then you had him introducing the JV team. How Twitter, X, social media just had a field day with Harris's phone call asking Walz to be her running mate. Another one of those phony, weird, staged, awkward, uncomfortable, social media releases that they did. Tim Walz claiming deafness caused him to flee the cops during that 90s DUI arrest. He was a teacher. They said that he was driving drunk. He was going more than 90 miles an hour, and then he made up a big story and lied about it. Drunk driver. Walz, another flashback. Walz in on the Biden cover-up, saying he's fit for office. So this is a guy, and we don't talk about the cover-up enough. They all knew that allegedly that Biden, was declining in his mental acuity, and none of them did anything about it. Nobody talks about it. As far as Tim Walz, what does he support? His record. And I went through this yesterday for you when I was immediately looking him up. This guy, he is anti-parental rights. He wants tampons in the boys' bathroom, and he wants... We'll get it. I'll have to share with you my brother's. He calls them tampoons. All right, later. It's a funny story with my brother and tampons. You'll love it. But Tim Walz's record on kids, gender, ideology, this guy's far left. He wants to be a sanctuary as Minnesota. Come to Minnesota. We will protect you and your, 8-year-old child as you basically get sterilized and take some of these really strong, potent drugs and major surgeries for little kids. Ew, talk about creepy. So I can't say it enough. This guy is not mainstream America. Anybody who calls him a mainstream dad, it's just not with it. We'll get to all of it. 855-839-1210. Ann in Springfield, we love your take on the on this team this duo, this liberal defund the police duo in Temple, North Philadelphia at the Leah Chorus Center. What was your take as you saw them speaking? Hey, Ann.
Hi, I hope you don't have to do too much explaining on this because it's an emotional thing. Yeah. But all I could think of was Officer Fitzgerald, the Temple police officer who was murdered. What a screw you in your face move it was for Chameleon to drag somebody like Walls into Temple. I can't imagine how if this even occurred to his parents. Why would they do such a thing? And maybe it was purposeful. Who knows? But that's all I could think of. It just breaks my heart, and it really pisses me off.
Good.
So I'm sorry, but thank you.
No, vent. I think, and when I say good, what I mean by that is, and I love, how you pivoted that into feeling the passion to support and back the blue. And thinking about the family members, the widow, who we all know, we met her, we met Marissa, Mrs. Fitzgerald, the widow now, young widow of Sergeant Chris Fitzgerald, who leaves behind Marissa's brave widow, his parents who've spoken out eloquently, and his kids who grow up without their dad. And yeah, we deserve to feel anger over these defund the police individuals who have the audacity. Yeah.
Thank you.
I love it.
Yes.
Thanks, Ann.
Yes.
Thanks for that. I think, and that's just it, that we have to, for each other, really support this and support our law enforcement, support our widows and children and families behind the badge who every single day pay the price for the defund the police movement. The Fitzgerald children, they pay the price for the policies, the failed policies of a Kamala Harris or a Joe Biden or a Tim Walz. These are the children and the widows and the families, the face of grief, the face of those who suffer and survive with courage, the defund the police movement. Not just the officers who continue to wear the badge, but what about their families behind the badge who every single day make the sacrifice and have to courageously go through life now with the living this. They are the living sacrifice of the defund the police movement. That's what these kids that, you think about Sergeant Fitzgerald, his kids, when they graduate from grade school, high school, their wedding day. You think about every moment that they live, every monumental day, and Dad's not here. And in part, and of course we have to blame the criminals, right? I'm not going to blame a firearm or an inanimate object, right, for a crime, but we have to hold accountable the criminals, but as well, the defund the police movement that allowed these criminals out to harm our police officers as well and emboldened our criminals. That's what Kamala Harris represents. That's what Tim Walz represents. Let us not forget that. I know it's not lost on you. 855-839-1210. We'll do a reset. We will update you at the top of the hour. We do have EJ Antoni, the genius, and he's an economic and money genius, and we'll talk to him about all the policies that matter. Be right back.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the number #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hi, Stephanie from Emmons. Are you not loving your bathroom? Is the King's Throne looking a little outdated and run down? Let Emmons Design Specialists design a bathroom that you will love and one that Emmons will redo in as little as 1 day. An affordable, maintenance-free bathroom with little to no inconvenience to you and your family. With finance options available, there's really only one problem. Your bathroom will be so nice, your king may never want to come out. Call Emmons today at 856-885-6677 or visit us on our website at callemmons.com.
With NJ Diet, you can lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. They have customers that have lost 37 pounds, 100 pounds, and over 120 pounds, and they've kept it off. You'll have more energy, and you'll probably see better lab results. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work to provide you personalized natural formulas and supplements so you can lose the weight, and DNA testing will help you keep it off. Lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days, contractually guaranteed. Go to njdiet.com.
Hey, Daydreamer. Did we catch you thinking about your dreams? With Wells Fargo Premier, a team can help you plan for them. So let's imagine your biggest dream. Not the easy one, the one behind it. The one you work towards every day and every night. Can you see it? Then we can help you plan for it. Ready to start planning for your dreams? You can at wellsfargo.com/getpremier.
Turnersville Jeep wants you to save big. Save big this month with financing as low as 0% for up to 84 months. Come to turnersvillejeep.com and get an incredible 0% APR for up to 84 months on select models. Or make no payments for 90 days. Turnersvillejeep.com has over 450 vehicles available for immediate delivery. The ride you want is what we've got. So drive a little and save a lot. Turnersvillejeep.com. Turnersvillejeep.com. Your premier tri-state Jeep, Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, and Wagoneer dealer.
For eligible individuals 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Select's premium package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home, all done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge. Oh, you people are wonderful. Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee. I hear better than I ever thought possible. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to jabraenhance.com/try. That's JABRA enhance.com/try. JabraEnhance.com/try.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Talk about a fly in the ointment. You know, one of the big stories this morning is that reportedly in the Middle East, Iran seeking retribution, and perhaps we'll see an attack on Israel. Remember, we do have U.S. service members injured in Iraq. That happened under the watch of the Biden-Harris administration, and Harris and Walz should have to answer for that. What are they going to do? Remember Harris's disastrous meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu. So tensions in the Middle East, will they reach a crisis level? Will we see this strike by Iran or by others, 2 different terror groups reportedly, against Israel? And so that will definitely burst the bubble for Harris and Walz, in my humble opinion. So a lot looming as we think about that. I do want to get some of the audio in here with Sherelle Parker's. We didn't play any of this. I watched it live. My husband and I were watching it live, and a real cheerleader for Philadelphia. A ton of energy, more energy than I've ever, certainly more energy than Harris or Walz have, and authentic energy, I should say, and somebody who's not a progressive. So those are my points about her. Which do you want to start with, Henry? So we do have the CNN. It's a gush fest, as you know. Jake Tapper, and he gets a kick out of Sherelle Parker, and he's doing an interview, and it's kind of they're killing some time waiting in between the speeches, whatever. But it's a gush. But I thought she was high energy. Number one.
Yeah, they were feeding off of each other.
Yeah. Well, it's a gush fest.
Yeah.
It's the liberal. Let's face it. I mean, CNN. It's a left-wing broadcasting entity. Nobody thinks that they're objective. So do you want to play a little bit of...
let's do it.
Able to understand this moment.
But I don't mean to bring up any moments that were uncomfortable, but obviously you were pulling for your hometown boy, Josh Shapiro, the governor.
Unapologetic about that, Jake. Now, Jake, you have to know me. I'm a Philadelphia girl through and through. You are a Philadelphia guy. The Eagles, the Flyers, the Phillies, the Sixers ever having an opportunity to be in the finals, I am going to make sure I'm rooting for the home team. And I was proud to support my good friend and former colleague, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. He and I are looking forward to working with Senator Casey, along with Senator Fetterman and all of our stakeholders across the state party, local party, to elect the Harris-Walz ticket to the White House, and we're going to be working very hard to send them there.
And trust me when I tell you this, that Sherelle Parker will work harder than Harris Walz. I just think that they're asleep at the wheel. I think that they show, like I say, they show up for the party, they show up for the victory lap, they show up but they're not known as hard workers or people with an incredible work ethic. That's their reputation. And I don't see them campaigning hard. And a campaign is tough, exhausting work that is a marathon. It is not something where you can just show up every once in a while. And that was one of the big raps against Kamala Harris by her own staffers who were stabbing her in the back. And that's why she's had that turnover, one of the reasons. Because people felt like, she's really, she's not a hard worker. And they became frustrated with her for many reasons, but that was one of them. Again, Trump making one of the headlines with Trump speaking out live this morning on Fox and Friends, calling in, and the headline is that the Harris-Walz ticket will turn America communist immediately. That's one of the headlines this morning. Other audio you've got. Now you want to go to the influencers. So this is Trump. I think this actually might have happened Sunday.
Yeah, it was. Right? I think Sunday night or either Monday.
I think it happened Sunday. I want to say.
Yeah,
the days bleed together, but he's with a social media influencer,
Aiden Ross,
and comes into, they're so excited. They're like they're playing like a hype song for him, right?
Oh, he rolled out the red carpet for him, absolutely.
And he's giving him gifts, which now the Democrats are saying, "Oh, he's accepting gifts. That's income." They're already, it's crazy.
I don't know what he's gonna do with that one gift he got. Did you see that?
Yes.
The Cybertruck. I don't know how many places you can drive that.
Well, Trump, he's not really driving anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Who else is gonna drive that?
Excuse me. Yeah. So, do you want to play a little interaction here?
Sure. We can play Trump and Aiden talking about Joe Biden in the debate if you'd like.
Yeah.
It's a coup. I'm telling you. They went in to see him. He did badly. The debate was a disaster.
It was horrible.
Okay. I don't know if I was brilliant or if he was horrible. Maybe it was a combination of both.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I know one thing. They were saying after I left, I said, that was one of the greatest debate performances we've ever seen. And then 2 days later, they just said he was terrible.
Right.
They never gave. They
Right.
took away the great debate performance stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I mean, I did fine, and he is he shouldn't have. Look, he's done tremendous damage to our country. He was a terrible president. He was the worst president we've ever had. She's, by the way, considered the most unpopular vice president we've ever had. But she's she's worse than he is. I actually think he's smarter than her, and I think he's a really not smart person. But I think he's smarter than she is. But she was convenient. She was there. They have better people. I mean, they have much better people. In fact, all of the people that she's looking at are considered much better than her. These were people that were thinking about running. They would have run, except that they didn't want to go through this roadblock with her, and because you're the vice president. So they wanted to go pick them, and I think virtually every one of them is considered better, smarter, would be a better president than her. But we can't allow her to be president. She's going to destroy our country.
She'll ruin it. I mean, already it's ridiculous what she's saying.
And by the way, the youth is so important because youth tends to be Democrat, and as they get older, they become Republican.
So let me just hang on one second. Just hold that for 1 second, because if you don't know who Aiden Ross is, he's 23 years old. He's obviously a streamer. He's an influencer. But Trump actually, if you listen to it, he says at one point, "Hey, my son Barron says hello." So Barron just turned 18 years old, and Trump says that Barron is a big fan of Aiden Ross. So you might say, well, who in Trump's orbit, got him to go on with this influencer? His kids have a big impact on him, and it was Barron who obviously we're learning is he's really a conservative. Different from the other Trump kids who grew up in New York, probably as Democrats. But I think his youngest son, ironically, is the true conservative. I think Melania is a conservative. I think Trump is now a conservative. And so you look at his youngest child influencing him. But this guy has, he really carries a lot of weight, especially with the youth vote, especially young men, popular with young men with that demographic. And Ross rose to fame initially streaming himself playing video games online. Now, he did become controversial, I guess, because I guess he played video games or something with Nick Fuentes, who was the guy who they said was a white, the whole racial thing gets in there. But I think more he's known as somebody who was, playing the video games online, and that's what he's famous for streaming. So a big influencer, 4 million followers on YouTube, 7.2 million on Instagram, 1.3 million on Kick. Okay. And so Trump going on with this guy, and they're introing him and having a lot of fun. And you hear it. It's very relaxed, and it's not at all awkward. It's not creepy, and it's not weird. Do you know what was awkward, creepy, and weird? Parts of last night's rally between Kamala and Walz. 855-839-1210. Be right back with EJ and Tony.
Hey everyone, it's Donald Trump Jr. Join me and Dom Giordano Thursday, September 12th at the Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood, New Jersey for the next Politics and Pints with WPHT. We will talk all things Trump, the 2024 election, and my father's book, Letters to Trump. South Jersey and PA suburbs are hugely important to electing Donald Trump president. Just head to 1210WPHT.com for tickets right now. Hope to see you there.
There's no need to wait. The time is always right at Colonial Hyundai. Hi, it's John Ashdale, the Car Czar. Today's the best day to buy a new car at Colonial. We have over 200 vehicles in stock. New Palisades, Konas, Tucsons, and the exciting EVs that have taken the world by storm, the Ioniq 5 and 6. We understand that everyone's needs, budgets, and challenges are different. But here at Colonial, we take the stress out of buying a new car. Big incentives, like $6,500 for your trade, guaranteed, no matter the condition. The best financing in the business, no matter your credit, with rates as low as 0%. Plus, we streamline the buying process so you can be in and out of our dealership in no time without any unnecessary hassle or waiting. So why wait? Shop us online 24/7 at colonialhyundai.com or visit us on Lincoln Highway in Downtown. Colonial Hyundai, the faster, easier, better way to buy a Hyundai.
0% financing applies on select 2024 new Hyundai models. $6,500 for your trade not available on EVs. Offers cannot be combined. See dealer for more details.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano for my friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz and the Bentz Dental Group. His state-of-the-art facility makes your dentistry as easy as can be. Recently had a permanent tooth put in, and you know how it is. In the past, you bite down, it's too high, it's always too high. The back and forth getting it just right. Well, not this time. With Dr. Bentz, it fit perfectly the first time. Call the Bentz Dental Group now, 610-272-6949. Visit BentzDentalGroup.com, 610-272-6949.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there, investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
Your 401k goes up and down. That's fine when you're 40, but not when you're 60. Find out how to protect your hard-earned money. Tune in to the Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen, Saturdays at 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Free speech in Philly on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
It's all about the economy, stupid. Remember that? That was James Carville, by the way, who was on there last night on CNN and is on the other networks claiming that Tim Walz, the Minnesota governor, is a combat veteran. Please fact check that for yourself. It is not true. And we talked about that earlier this morning, but just that headline that Walz, in fact, even his former, people who served with him in the National Guard, which is great service, said that he backed out the moment that he found that they were actually going to go to Iraq, that he backed out and left others holding the bag, if you will. And they did go on to serve, but he did not. And so a lot of criticism from some of the guys who served with him in the National Guard stateside. So just wanted to clarify that one. Let's talk about the economy. You think about last Friday, these news cycles, but last Friday afternoon, that horrific, the jobs report came out. Everybody, I was skeptical, like, oh, isn't that funny? It just happens on a Friday afternoon, this horrible news dump. That came out. Then Monday morning, we get, even before the markets opened at 9:30, we say, oh, it's going to be down 800, then it was 1,100, now it's coming back. But what's up with the economy? And it's all about the economy, stupid. It's all about Bidenomics and all those clips of Kamala going, Bidenomics. I can't even imitate her because it's just like such a parody of a person. But how badly does this hurt Harris Walz? And let's just take you through some of the latest economic news. And who better than our own guru, the biggety big, the best, EJ and Tony. Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Dawn, always a pleasure. Great to be with you today.
And EJ, sometimes I feel like, you don't need the intro because we all know you. EJ Antoni, research fellow in the Heritage Foundation's Grover Herman Center for the Federal Budget and research focusing, of course, on fiscal and monetary policy. But I don't know. I just think I like biggity big EJ Antoni, economic genius and guru. I think that's the better title.
I like it. It's very Trumpian. I can picture the former president himself saying it as he moves his hands in the way he always does. I love it. It's the best. Believe me.
So take me through, if we begin even looking at last Friday, what happened, Monday morning, this week moving through, and then matching up and thinking about Americans and the reality check of Bidenomics. And I want to insert into there, because there's somebody will call and say, well, you can't blame Biden for the Federal Reserve. You can't blame, he doesn't completely control the Federal Reserve, and the fact that they were slow to push the button and deal with the rates. So can you give us your E.J. Antoni analysis, but incorporating, those individuals who are going to call, who are Biden supporters, and who are going to say, hey, it's not all Biden's fault?
Well, look, it's certainly true that Biden is not the Fed. I mean, that seems pretty obvious, but you have to ask, why did the Fed do what they did? Why did they keep interest rates so low for so long? It was because they had to help finance the ridiculous, profligate, runaway spending by the Treasury Department. In other words, Biden pushed through so much spending legislation, trillions upon trillions of dollars worth, that the Treasury had massive deficits that they couldn't actually finance. There literally wasn't enough money available to borrow. And so the Fed had to step in and create the money for the Treasury to borrow. They had to create the money in order for the government to spend it. And also to keep the financing costs on the debt down, they had to plunge interest rates. Well, all of that is coming back to bite us. It already has in the form of higher inflation, 40-year high inflation. But now, in order to try to tame that inflation that the Fed helped cause, they've had to increase interest rates. And again, it's coming back to bite us in a lot of different ways, not only at the federal level, right? Look at federal finance, where we're spending over $1.1 trillion a year now just to finance the debt. In other words, just interest, not paying a dime towards principal. But aside from federal finance, it's damaged family finance, because now people are having difficulty affording a home. They have high home prices and high interest rates. That's a deadly combination for your monthly mortgage payment. Look at credit cards are near an all-time high for those interest rates. I don't care whether it's auto loans, student loans, anything in between. These punishingly high interest rates have greatly increased the cost of living crisis for a lot of Americans.
And what's scary to me when we think about any manipulation of financial conditions of the economy and sort of usurping those core functions of the Federal Reserve, that's always scary to me. Any kind of manipulation, because I think of I think of 2008 and the crash and all of that. And so, in the way that you beautifully described this, E.J. Antoni, in other words, thinking about the Treasury Department, basically what you're saying is, so it's kind of, I was trying to think of the analysis, like trying to fund, like if I want to do some spending and I don't want my husband to really see it. So I go to a card with maybe a higher interest rate, but he's not going to see it. So I can still do my spending. And I'm trying to think of a good analogy here that people can relate to, of, the Biden Treasury Department and the Biden administration trying to get what they want, basically juice the economy, but then they're sort of manipulating and changing how they're supposed to finance the government. So it's not technically illegal, but it's a manipulation.
Well, one of the things that they're doing, Dawn, at the Treasury Department is they've changed the kind of debt that they're using to finance the annual deficit. Okay. So usually we have this very typical mix of Treasury bills, Treasury bonds, Treasury notes. In other words, the amount of time before that debt needs to be repaid is varied. It can be as short as just a few months and as long as 30 years. And there's a lot of reasons why that maturation schedule is the way it is. But what this Treasury Department has been doing is trying to reduce the amount of long-term debt and pile everything into Treasury bills or short-term debt, for a couple of different reasons. One is it actually has a temporarily positive effect on liquidity. In other words, it helps private business think there's more cash available than there actually is. It also is going to temporarily help keep down mortgage rates so that people don't feel as much of the burden of government spending. But it is also greatly increasing the cost to service the debt. We're basically paying an extra $100 billion a year in interest on the federal debt right now because of all these manipulations by Janet Yellen trying to control the yield curve here. So at the end of the day, that's just the immediate effect. You have long-term effects that are much worse than that. Look, and this goes for any time, whether it's the Fed or the Treasury or any other part of the federal government tries to manipulate finance. It always snaps back at you, and it is always going to have very catastrophic effects in the long run.
And so part of it is, can you just, take us through that? Because you're talking about the short-term debt, right, the Treasury bills, and you're saying that was about the 20% of the outstanding debt. Now, basically, they're saying, oh, that's not 20%. Well, that's like the average. Instead of saying, no, that should be your max. Am I right there? So usually they would say, oh, we're not going to go above this amount for that. But now they're saying, oh, no, that's no longer your limit. That's just like the average. That's how they're fudging this?
Dawn, it's very much like they're doing with the overall budget or the size of the debt. And people say, hey, this is reaching alarming levels or this is reaching alarming ratios. And to justify it, they're pointing to extreme moments in history. In other words, when we were in the depths of very bad recessions or when we were at war. And they're saying, oh, well, it did happen before, so this isn't completely new, right? This isn't entirely out of the norm. Well, no, it is out of the norm. You're using an extreme situation to justify what you're doing today. Then that means we must be in another extreme situation. So, look, you guys can't have it both ways. You can't say everything is fine and then say, in order to keep everything fine, we have to take all of these extraordinary measures. That points to some very troubling underlying fundamentals.
And so at the end of the day, what is the biggest mistake that you see as you look forward and you see this all unfolding?
I think the biggest mistake in terms of how we got here, at least, has just been the ridiculous levels of spending. I mean, it is absolutely appalling. Now, it is hiding a lot of our economic woes, right? Because when the government spends money, that actually adds to GDP because of the way we calculate that figure. So it makes it look like the economy is growing, even though it really isn't. Likewise, if the government takes a dollar from you and gives it to someone else, that goes under government transfers, but it ultimately gets counted as consumer spending, even though, again, it really is the government moving the money around. So as the government does more and more of both that direct and indirect spending, if you will, it continuously adds to the way we measure the economy, even though the actual private economy, the productive economy, hasn't increased at all. So unfortunately, as much as it is the biggest source of our problems today, it is also the biggest source of positive news, even though that positive news is not reflective of reality. It's not reflective of the lived experience, I think, that your listeners go through day after day.
And so it's a business killer as far as especially small business. You've said before that the Bidenomics team has ignored the middle class misery, as you've talked about. Take me through, for the average American, what Bidenomics is doing to the average American worker and family.
For the average American worker, it's an incredibly high cost of living, essentially, Dawn. I mean, it's you're paying 40% more for car insurance. You're paying 116% more for your monthly mortgage payment today on a median price home than you did when Biden or Harris took office. That's not an exaggeration. It has more than doubled. I mean, this genuinely is a cost of living crisis. I don't like throwing that term around loosely, but I think it fits in this instance. At the end of the day, a lot of the inflation metrics that we use, things like the Consumer Price Index or CPI, we'll get another reading on that next week, for example, that always grossly understates inflation. And the reason for that is because it doesn't count a lot of price increases, including things from regulation. For example, if the government imposes a new regulation on automobiles that increases the cost per vehicle by, let's say, $5,000, that will show up nowhere in the CPI. Why? Because it purposely excludes any cost increases associated with regulation. It adjusts that out of the equation. And so that's why for literally about 2 decades, according to the CPI, the price of new vehicles flatlined. It didn't budge. It's only been the last few years that it's gone up at all. Why is that? Because all of those regulatory costs that were imposed on the auto industry were literally just adjusted away by the magical statisticians.
And, as far as this goes, when we think about our economy, are you saying the R word, recession?
I am. Yeah, no, absolutely, Dawn. I would not be surprised if the recession is eventually backdated to July or August, the current month. And the reason I say backdated is because we always like to wait until we have several months of very conclusive data before we say, okay, recession began. And the reason for that is because there are plenty of times in history where you have a particularly bad month. And you don't want to all of a sudden say, oh, we began a recession when it was something that was so short and so temporary that it really doesn't fit that bill. There were plenty of times in the past, for example, when we had not just a single month, but a quarter. We had 3 months of negative economic growth, but it really wasn't widespread or deep enough or lasted long enough to qualify as a recession. So, I would not be surprised, though, if maybe in a year the officials that do this, if they look back at the data and they say, wow, the deterioration we're in today, it began last year around August.
Yeah, well, and it's political. I remember when Bush was running against Obama and they kept saying, oh, recession, recession, recession. And it was amazing how when Obama won and beat Bush, that recession that day just vanished. It was amazing. The media just
another really good example, Dawn, was when his father, Bush Sr., was running against Clinton, and there had been a recession, except the recession was very clearly already over by the time the campaign started. But the National Bureau of Economic Research, the group that usually dates recessions, they refused to say that the recession had ended. And so by the time the election rolls around, the recession was a year and a half over, and they refused to declare it as such. And so the Clinton campaign was able to go around saying, you have presided over the longest recession in decades, even though the recession was already over. And it wasn't the longest recession in decades, but they got their political talking point, and it got Clinton elected.
Biased media, as we talk about, and sometimes biased by omission. E.J. Antoni, also public finance economist, Richard F. Astor Fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Always appreciate you. I love all of your analysis and the fact that your mom is named Dawn, too. That's kind of unusual. Isn't your mom Dawn?
No, she's not.
Same birthday.
I don't know
June
who told you that, but that's fake news.
That's fake news. See, people always go too far. They're like, yeah, EJ's mom's June 15th, and her name's Dawn, too. I was like, wow, that's like kind of weird, That's amazing. Both Geminis.
It would have been an amazing coincidence.
That would have been an amazing coincidence, but there are no coincidences. All right. E.J. Antoni, until next time, my friend, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. And
thank you, Dawn. Always a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. Have a great one. Here's the thing. If you want to react to any of that, or whether your business, your small business, your worries, say that again for me, Jimmy. Okay. Think about it. If you want to talk about it, 855-839-1210. And that's just it, because I think here's what my scenario is, that Trump's going to win in November. Maybe down ticket doesn't help as much as people had hoped. We'll see. But then Trump inherits this recession. And as EJ just noted, they should back time it and back stamp it, if you will, time stamp it and say, this is now we can note when it started, but they won't. They won't do that. So that's coming. Winter is coming for sure. Speaking of winter is coming, I know I watched Game of Thrones, House of Dragon. I don't know if you guys are watching it. It's so good. They just had the 8th series, and then the next one doesn't start till next year. But when I think of winter is coming and getting ready, getting your home ready, you've heard me talk about Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding. I'll squeeze Chapman in here really quick because I love the Chapman family team, and this is something incredible they're doing right now. So maybe, next year, because we have so much going on, our big wedding anniversary for us, graduations, some really monumental family time. So thinking about fixing up the house, getting things ready for the holidays. This is a time when you want to get things on the calendar as far as spiffing up the house. So as far as Chapman, right now through Labor Day, I'm going to cut to the chase here because this is incredible. Through Labor Day, Chapman is offering 20% off your James Hardy siding project. It's not just the siding, though. It's basically your exterior makeover. So James Hardy siding, windows, doors, shutters. It's basically your makeover, your home makeover that begins with the James Hardy siding. But most likely, if you're doing that exterior makeover, you're going to look at some windows, some doors, some shutters. Do you see what I'm saying? 20% off. Wow. This is incredible. And think about if you are looking at the siding replacement, or what about getting rid of the stucco? Or maybe you need some stucco remediation. Think Chapman. Think the James Hardy, that beautiful James Hardy plank or the vinyl siding choices. So call them, text 610-431-8898, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. You can do a virtual tour, and I love all of their ideas and the before and after photos, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Chapman, the name I trust. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Weather sponsored by Bestwork Industries for the Blind.
The forecast remains unsettled as we head through the rest of the work week. We'll see clouds around today with a few showers possible. It'll be cooler with a high 78. The chance for showers continues tonight with a low 68. And for Thursday, partly to mostly cloudy with some showers with a high near 80.
Weather sponsored by Bestwork Industries for the Blind's e-commerce store, helping businesses succeed in all work environments. BestworkSupplyCenter.com offers traditional office products, cleaning supplies, furniture, technology, and more. Shop now and save at BestworkSupplyCenter.com.
40 days up to 40 pounds. Say it with me. 40 days up to 40 pounds. Shed that summer vacation weight by reaching out to NJ Diet. You will lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days and without any shots. NJ Diet is all natural. They use your hair, saliva, and blood work, along with bioenergetic scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat-burning zone so you can finally lose that weight. Then, NJ Diet uses DNA info to help you keep it off. Best of all, it's contractually guaranteed. You're fully supervised the entire time to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. You even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. Locations in Newark, Delaware, King of Prussia, and Cherry Hill, or available worldwide with live online video consultations. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consultation today by going to njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com. 40 days up to 40 pounds. 40 days up to 40 pounds.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So a lot developing this hour, and we'll have some of Henry's and Jimmy's choices. We got so much audio, some of it which you didn't hear this morning. But a story that caught my eye, and I just wanted to get your reaction and put this on your radar. And I'll do a deep dive in the days to come. But the Free Beacon, freebeacon.com, they have this story on elections, and they say, meet the little-known activist group, here in Pennsylvania, by the way, that has tens of thousands of doctors registering patients to vote. So these are psychiatric hospitals to the NICU, right? And these settings, they say, have now become political backgrounds. And so it's an investigative piece that they've just written. And part of it, they even have they give the press releases, the media releases from some of these different groups. What's notable to me is that they write about a Pennsylvania-based institute relying on voter support materials created by its own staff. That was initial. But then they turn to the nonprofit Vote ER, which develops, quote, nonpartisan civic engagement tools for, quote, every corner of the healthcare system. So who founded that? Well, let's do a deeper dive. It was founded by an emergency room doctor at Harvard Medical School, Alistair Martin, who served as an advisor to, can you make a guess? Vice President Kamala Harris. Yeah, Vote ER has helped more than 50,000 doctors register their patients to vote. The signature product is a badge with a QR code that pulls up an online voter registration platform which healthcare workers can wear around their necks. Doctors ask the patient whether they've registered to vote, and if the answer is no, encourage them, hey, just scan the badge. So I'm the person who controls your meds. So think about, let's just go through this for a second. So this is a doctor who's caring for you and controls your meds and controls the food that you get. And, some of these individuals are not here voluntarily because, they've had aggressive behavior. Some people have had substance abuse issues. Some people depression, bipolar disorder. But some of these individuals, by this, according to freebeacon.com, that these inpatient clinics, not everybody here is here voluntarily. And you have a doctor who really controls you right now. They're controlling everything in your life. And they're telling you that as part of your therapy, hey, suggesting that you register to vote. And then they, I guess, through Voter ER and through all of this, what are the suggestions? To me, does this seem like a conflict of interest to anybody?
What can possibly go wrong here?
Wow.
What can possibly go wrong? So here's the deal. So if you vote Democrat, we'll give you your meds. But if you vote for Republicans, well, then we got to restrict you. And, as Jack Nicholson would say, if we vote Democrat, does that mean we get to watch the ball game, Nurse Ratched? If we vote for Kamala?
I want that television on.
There you go.
You guys watch way too much TV.
Yes.
No, but, great reference. We got the cuckoo's nest. Look who's flying over it. But so doctors using this Vote ER tool to register these patients according to these latest statistics, I should say, in these studies, registering patients in cancer hospitals, emergency rooms, substance abuse clinics, and these care departments. and care units even registering the parents of newborns in neonatal intensive care units. So these are the people who are caring for your prematurely born baby, who's the size of a kitten.
Sounds like a bad movie plot.
I know. This is like, talk about creepy and weird.
It just sounds like a really bad plot for a Netflix series or something that, well, I guess that your kid's not going to be born today, or we're not going to be able to do this unless you do this. And if you vote for Kamala, we won't have to sedate you again.
Here's the thing. I just do not, in my humble opinion, I just do not think it's appropriate that your doctor or the nurse, they also have the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Nurses Association, Association of American Medical College, all these groups are saying, they're suggesting that doctors and nurses and all these clinicians ask their patients whether they plan to vote. Why? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not seeing that that's really appropriate. This is somebody who should be asking you all about your health record. And half the times these, by the way, your doctor, they're not even allowed if you say, oh, by the way, I know I'm here for a well visit with my kid or myself, but, oh, man, I got this pain in my hip. I fell. And they go, well, we're not really allowed under your insurance plan. I mean, everything's so rushed that's now suddenly they have time to ask you whether or not you plan to vote or whether you need to register to vote. And, oh, by the way, I have this handy-dandy QR code right here. You can just click your phone on it and register to vote right here. I just think, first of all, you can't even get into the doctor. Half of them have retired during COVID, depending on where you are. I just think this is all, like Jimmy said, what could possibly go wrong? But the applications for the group's resources ask whether the, quote, majority of your patients are 24 years old or younger, Black, African American, LGBTQIA+. This is all Voter ER's data. Again, the creator of this, somebody who's buddy-buddy with your favorite vice president, your favorite Veep, Kamala Harris.
That's right. Vote for Kamala, and we'll see you right now. No waiting whatsoever. You don't have to sit in the ER for about 9 hours. Just right on this pad, you want to vote for Kamala, and we'll stitch you up and get you on your way.
The claim here by freebeacon.com, here's a quote from the article. It says that the group has scripts that are online, that you can find online, that these are given to these doctors that sign up for this Vote ER thing, this program. They encourage, quote, undocumented patients, because remember, the undocumented patients, they're coming here illegally, and then they get all this free health care that we pay for and so on. But they encourage undocumented patients to register their friends and family members who are citizens to vote. See, this is the loop. We have all these little loopholes, don't we? Oh, hey, undocumented patients. Hey, remember, encourage your citizen friends and family members that they should vote. We're not suggesting, you should vote because technically that's illegal, but here's all the info and ding, here's the friendly, handy-dandy QR code. So Vote ER is not responding to requests for comments from the freebeacon.com. You can check this out. You can, I always say, do your own diligence, do your own homework. But when we get suspicious about what's really going on here, here's why we have cause for concern. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano with a big update on our huge Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr. We had to move the date to Thursday, September 12th. We'll talk the election, all things Trump, 2 days after the next scheduled presidential debate. Think about that. Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr., now September 12th, Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood. All the ticket details and everything else at 1210WPHT.com. Be there September 12th. Hi, this is Dom Giordano. The best place to bet games this summer is FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can get $150 in bonus bet if your first $5 bet wins. Then you can bet on all your favorite international teams and all your favorite sports from basketball to badminton, soccer to swimming. FanDuel has it all. Don't miss your chance to score $150 in bonus bets if that first bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/Dom to sign up and start betting the games today. Make every moment more with FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? 1-800-GAMBLER.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
Hey, pet parents, the summer season is here, and that means it's time to get outside and enjoy some sunshine with your pet. Hi, I'm George Parenti, the lead dog at the Dogs and Cats Rule stores. The stores are loaded with great summer collections of outdoor and interactive toys. We carry the finest selection of fresh diets, like gently cooked, raw, freeze-dried, air-dried, dehydrated, baked, and of course, traditional kibble and cans. Dogs and Cats Rule with 7 neighborhood locations. Visit dogsandcatsrule.pet. That's Dogs and Cats Rule. Shop small, shop local, shop family.
Tired of your old kitchen or bathroom? You need to give my friends at Kitchen Magic a call. They offer no shortage of solutions for any room in your home. With a new vanity and a tub shower conversion, you'll love that new bathroom. Plus, an industry-leading warranty. A 10-year recipient of Lehigh Valley's top workplaces. Right now, they're offering 12 months, no payments, no interest financing, plus 10% off your remodel. Get your free in-home consultation today. KitchenMagic.com. KitchenMagic.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by Advocacy United, this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Offer not valid in all states or prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Great. Maxed out cards, rent is due, bills are piling up. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
We should do what my brother did. He went to GetCash.com and got $3,000.
With our bad credit?
GetCash.com is different. They're one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000.
I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork.
Nope. My brother said it was fast and easy. He did it right from his phone.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan of up to $5,000 in minutes, and your cash can hit your bank account as soon as the next day. Our lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history.
Great news! I went to getcash.com and we'll have our money as soon as tomorrow.
Wow, that is fast.
If you need extra cash, go to getcash.com. That's getcash.com. Getcash.com.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So this is where I love how Trump just plays the media. So he suggested on Truth Social or social media that Joe Biden, crooked Joe Biden, worst president, how he says about him, but that he would actually storm the DNC, the convention, and just take back the nomination. And so they're all triggered, and everybody on MSNBC and Rolling Stone, and they're, he's crazy. What Trump is doing is he's pointing out the obvious, that the more old school Democrats, if you will, have been hijacked. The Democrat Party has been hijacked by the far left progressives. That's what Trump's really saying, and they don't even see that he's saying that, but that's the bottom line, that Trump is saying, yep, hijacked. If you're an old school, back in the day, pro-union Democrat, kind of like Trump used to be way back in the day when he would donate to both campaigns, Trump is saying that party has left you, and now they've been hijacked, and even Joe Biden got robbed. I think that's his point when he's saying that. Something that I'll take you back to, my goodness, so many hours ago, as we had started out on Kale and Company at 6 o'clock this morning. I know Greg Stocker had played some of the audio of some of the former comrades, fellow service members who served with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz when he served in the National Guard. But at that moment, when he knew that he was actually going to have to serve overseas in the Middle East, what did he do? He bailed. So he's the guy who, how they say you'd never want to be in a foxhole with that person, right? You'd never want to be in combat with that person. He's that guy. He's the MIA guy, and he's going to leave you holding the bag. And that individual is the very person who will be live with Dom Giordano, and I can't wait to hear this incredible interview. Dom, I just have a feeling, there's this old saying, about people that us protest too much. The fact that this guy Walz came up with the whole weird, creepy terminology, it's going to just turn around and boomerang back on him, Dom. He's the real creepazoid.
Well, yeah, we have him at 2 o'clock today, Dawn. Thanks for that. Also, Linda Kearns, because we found out from Washington Beacon that doctors, particularly in Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania Psychiatric Institute with schizophrenic patients, are encouraging them and registering them to vote. Schizophrenic patients who are there mandatorily, not through their own will.
Yeah, Jimmy Kelly had the best line of, what was that, Jimmy? If you could do your imitation really fast, maybe you'll do it on the Dom Show, but Jimmy Kelly had the best line of the day on this one, the over the cuckoo's nest. Who's flying over the cuckoo's nest? I mean, it's hysterical, Dom. You can't make this up.
I just said that if, we vote for Kamala Harris, Nurse Ratched will allow us to watch the ball game.
That was pretty good at the end. You really caught it at the end. That's right.
Oh, this is an awesome Dom Show, as always, teed up for you.